Hello, beautiful people. Today is 30th of July. My name is Sahil, and welcome to Newspaper Analysis. Friends, yesterday we had seen the writings of the Muhammad Yunus, who happened to be the founder of the idea of microcredit, microfinance, and the idea of Grameen Bank. And for that, he also got the Nobel Peace Prize as well as the Presidential Medal of Freedom. So, guys, Muhammad Yunus also talks about education in his thesis. He says that a university should not be an island where academics attain higher and higher level of knowledge without sharing any of this knowledge with its neighbors. So friends, here the idea of a shared education is being given. And guys, now we will connect this idea also with the trickle down effect theory, which is very prominent in economics. So into the trickle down, it is said that any kind of influence which will be coming onto the upper sections, it will flow down to the lower sections. So it means that at the end of the day, the fruits will or the impact will be going to the lower sections and into the education also. It was believed that the universities will bring a kind of a trickle down effect where the masses which will be getting the university education, they will spread the fruits to the less fortunate ones as well as to the masses of the society. But guys, where the universities have turned into an island and where the academics are not sharing those fruits of education to the lower sections, then such kind of education is not desired. So guys, in education we need a trickle down theory. So guys, this is a very powerful and impactful thought which should be a reforming line in our higher education, and you can use it very conveniently in GS paper number 2 where the topic of education has been mentioned, as well as onto the topic of essay if it comes on education. Now guys, the main question that I gave you yesterday. So question says that reverse migration may turn into disaster if not backed by proper policy formulation. Comment in the light of reasons for the reverse migration to India. So now guys, first of all, in introduction, we can explain briefly the phenomena of the reverse migration. So, reverse migration is a phenomena or a process or a trend where a non-native person living into some distant land comes back to his native place or the place of origin. Now guys, reverse migration can be of certain types. So first classification, it could be domestic, that is for example a person from Bihar or a person from Bengaluru going back to his home state Bihar. Secondly, it could be international, for example a person working into the Gulf country coming back to his state Kerala. Secondly, it could be onto the basis of will, it could be choice based or it could be necessity based. Now choice based means a person coming back in order to connect with his social life, in order to recollect his family bonds, filial bonds, or another kind of connects. So choice based, I give you one example. Suppose a person is living in UK and now by the virtue of his nationalism or love for country, he wants to return back and wants to do some work in his home state. So this is also an example of reverse migration, but it is a choice based. Second example is this guys, when the pollution, population, congestion into the metropolitan city increases, people tend to go back to their villages and tend to live a more peaceful life. So this is the choice based because you are not compelled. And then guys, the second is the necessity based, where the choice is not there, rather the compelling factor forces a person to go back to his native place. And these compelling factors could be a pandemic, it could be a political backlash. For example guys, in some of the states there is the theory which is prevalent, that is the son of the soil philosophy, where it is believed that resources of the native state should be for the natives and outsiders should not be allowed. And then a kind of a protest, a kind of a discrimination starts, and due to certain these kind of factors people go back. Then there could be the natural disasters such as the flood, earthquake, etc. So guys, these could be the reasons of the reverse migration. Now into the present times, we are seeing unprecedented reverse migration into the number of quantum, because large number of people from domestic as well as international territories are returning back to India. And guys, such kind of reverse exodus has never been seen. So India needs to be prepared for that particular phenomena, and therefore robust policy formulation is needed. And this policy formulation should be on 3R strategy, that is reintegrate, resettle and rehabilitate. And therefore government had even started the Swadesh portal. The government of Kerala had started the Dream Kerala, as well as various state governments. For example, Madhya Pradesh has started the Rozgar Setu, where the skill mapping of the people who have returned back, it is being done, and they will be given the adequate job opportunities. So guys, these are the bare thinking lines on which you need to tread. So guys, that's it about this, and now let's take the newspaper analysis. Guys, first of all, let's take the overview of the entire paper first. Friends, every day the newspaper articles that we discuss here, I provide them into the PDF format at our Telegram channel. The link has been provided into the description. You can access the PDF notes from there. Now guys, the most important issue today is the new education policy 2020, because this is the largest education reform in last 4 decades. But guys, personally I am not satisfied with the coverage carried into the Hindu newspaper, because comprehensively the reforms have not been explained. So I have decided that by today evening or tomorrow I will be bringing a separate video onto this entire reform, because guys, it is a very big topic. So separately I will be bringing it so that we can do the justice to this particular topic. Then guys, now here the night curfew and such relaxations have been given. The unlock 3 have been announced, but not important for our exam, because these things will be changed when our exam will be coming. Then moving forward guys, something about the Sero survey and peak has been mentioned. We'll see what has been given here. Then guys, moving forward, you can see that only the regional news has been given, not important for our exam. Now guys, here you can see a picture where some biomedical waste has been shown. So guys, with the help of this thing, we will today tackle a very probable question which can come into our exam. Then guys, moving forward, you can see that only the regional news has been given here, not important for our exam. Again, only the regional news there. So now we reach to the editorial section. Guys, this first editorial talks about the political crisis going into the Nepal, and what is the politics there. Guys, not at all important for our exam. Please don't have a look on this. Then guys, this article talks about the problems of Indian healthcare sector. It is being said that focus is not given. Guys, the same thing we had discussed more than 15 times, and even just 2 days back we have discussed an article onto the health. Guys, I'll not recommend to go on to the same thing again and again. Now guys, this particular article talks about the fraud controversy that is going in Malaysia. Guys, it is the internal political matter, not at all important for our exam. Please don't have a look. Then guys, this particular article talks about the cyber security concerns. Very good article. We'll be seeing what has been given. Then guys, limits of Rahul S. Gandhi, not important for our exam. Then guys, the digital world, very important and good article. We'll be seeing this thing. Then guys, an ecological important article. We'll be seeing what has been given here. Then moving forward, guys, here the Natesa statue has been mentioned. So with respect to the art and culture films, we'll see what has been given. Now guys, here just a quick reference. Vidya Varadhi. So this is an initiative started by the Andhra Pradesh, where they will be sending a van which will televise the online classes. It is for the students who have no accessibility of the internet devices, mobile phones, tablet, etc. For such unprivileged student, this initiative is being started. So guys, just please remember the name of Vidya Varadhi. Now moving forward, guys, here are certain references with respect to the NEP, but anyhow we'll be discussing it more comprehensively. Then guys, moving forward, you can see that only the political related news have been given, not important for our exam. So guys, here finally the Rafale jet has arrived in India. Only this much you need to know, nothing apart from this. Then guys, moving forward, here antibiotics as how they are a matter of concern in livestock, it has been mentioned. Some very good insights has been given, so we'll be seeing what has been provided here. Now here guys, it has been said that the high prices of pulses will affect the nutrition security. How? Because guys, if the prices of pulses will increase, then people will force to eat only rice and wheat, and if there will be no intake of pulses, the protein security of India will be impacted. So just a one liner concept guys, please keep in mind. Now guys, here the name of certain animals have been given. So you just need to see their name and IUCN status. So guys, much comprehensive I will be providing it into the PDF. Then guys, moving forward, some more species have been mentioned here, so that will be provided into the PDF. Now guys, here protesting has been declared as a fundamental right, so we'll be seeing what has been given with respect to the exam. After that, AIIB is now saying that India's project proposal will only be looked from the economic view, so we'll be seeing what has been given here guys. Now here you can see that only corporate news has been given, not important for our exam. Then moving forward guys, the sports page, nothing important has been given. And now let's take the newspaper analysis in detail. Now, guys, here a brief development with respect to the trends into the pandemic or the infectious diseases. So, whenever an outbreak begins into the early stages, the number of infections are moderate, but as the number of carriers or the infected one increases, there is a shoot into the number of cases. And guys, after a specific time, a peak is reached. So peak is a situation when the highest number of cases are registered, and after that the cases will decline. So guys, actually the peaking can occur because of two particular reasons. Reason number one is that now a large number of people have already been infected, and thus they have developed a kind of a immunity or a kind of a herd immunity, and therefore now the number of new infections will be reduced or new fatalities will go down. Or number two could be the invention of a vaccine, so that now people have an adequate safety cover. Now guys, as we had seen into the past few days, that the serological surveys are being taken. So they have been conducted in Delhi as well as in Mumbai. And the outcome of such serological survey is that in certain packets of Mumbai, that 57% of people living in slums have antibodies, whereas nearly 25% people in Delhi have antibodies. But guys, this mark is still less in order to reach the peak, and it has been said that the COVID-19 peak is still away, because still there are large number of people particularly living into the gated societies or the residential complexes, where the number of people having antibodies, their percentage is very low. For example, 16% in case of Mumbai. So still much time will be taken up to the point to go to the peak, and only after that there could be the respite or fall into the number of cases. So guys, just that's a brief here, and now we'll move to next. Now, friends, here you can see a pileup of the personal protection suits, gloves, masks, etc. And this is the scene of one of the landfill in Delhi. And such kind of scenarios have been noted across all the landfills across the country. Now, guys, on one hand, we are trying to stop the prevent of the infectious contagious disease, but in such a manner, if such a discarding of the biomedical waste will be done, then how the success could be achieved? Now, guys, even into the month of April as well as May, the National Green Tribunal has given the strict instruction to the states and union territories to ensure that there is no unscientific disposal of the biomedical waste. But till now, the implementation has been very weak, and guys, this particular thing could lead to an even new and resurgent wave of the COVID-19. Now, guys, see, if we trace into this particular matter, so in India, right now we have nearly 2.7 lakh healthcare facilities, and out of that, only 1.1 lakh have been registered under the Biomedical Waste Management Rules 2016. So you can see that there are large number of healthcare facilities which are not taking any substantial step for the scientific disposal of the biomedical waste. So guys, it is a urgent time that the NGT's recommendations should be implemented, and the state government should take adequate steps to register them all. And now guys, in this all aftermath, we will also look a brief highlight of the biomedical waste management rules 2016, on which a question is expected this year. First of all guys, it properly defines the definition of the biomedical waste, and it includes things such as the human and animal anatomical waste, treatment apparatus like needles, syringes, and other materials which are used into the healthcare facilities. Further, the ambit of the healthcare facilities have also been expanded, and it includes the units such as the vaccination camps, blood donation camps, surgical camps, or any other kind of healthcare activities, so the scope is also very much wide. Now guys, talking a little bit about the things which has been stated here into the rules. First of all, focus has been made on phasing out of the chlorinated plastics, and all the bags, gloves, blood bags, etc., which are made up of chlorinated plastics, they are needed to be phased in 2 years of the rules coming in implementation. Then guys, it has been said that all the laboratory waste, microbiological waste, etc., needs to be pre-treated because before discarding them, and this pre-treatment needs to be in sync with the WHO standards or by the standards which are prescribed by the National AIDS Control Organization. After that guys, it has been said that all the healthcare workers are also needed to be given training as well as immunization. So training as how the safe disposal can be made so that such kind of activities are not carried. Then guys, a system of barcode also needs to be installed, and all the bags which or the containers which are containing the biomedical waste, they should be tracked by that barcode. Then guys, see, the categorization have also been made, and the biomedical waste has been categorized into the four categories onto the basis of the hazard content into those waste. Then it has also been said that state government will provide the land for setting up of the common biomedical waste treatment and disposal facilities, but this particular step has not been implemented by most of the state governments. So guys, into the time of a pandemic, such non implementation or weak implementation can't be afforded, as it might lead or it might jeopardize the entire situation. So guys, that's all about this particular issue. A question is expected, so please keep all these things in your mind, and now we'll move to next. Now guys, we are into the editorial section, and this particular editorial talks about the need of creating an international framework for the cyber security. Now, into the wake of present crisis, the importance of cyberspace or internet is unprecedented. Now it is being used even more into the purpose for education, telemedicine, for business meets, and even now it is being resorted for the virtual meets by the state heads as well as onto the bilateral platforms. But guys, at the same time, the incidence of cyber attacks or the vulnerabilities of cyberspace has also been increased manifold, and according to a report by KSN network, the cyber attacks into the quarter first of the 2020 has been increased by 37%. Now, these cyber attacks are carried by the non-state actors. For example, there are the ransomware attacks where the users are logged out of their computers and they are asked to give a ransom if they want to get back the accessibility to their device. Then there are also instances of the DDoS attacks, malware attacks, and various millions of instances of the phishing attacks. But guys, cyber attacks are not only from the non-state actors or some segregated group of hackers. Rather, there have also been reports that the state are also sponsoring the cyber attacks. So there is also the tendency of the state-sponsored cyber attacks. For example, just recently, USA had alleged that China is carrying the cyber attacks onto the hospitals who are treating the COVID-19 patients. Then guys, similarly, UK has also alleged that Russia is trying to hack into the pharmaceutical companies of UK who are developing the drug for the COVID-19 as well as the vaccine. Then guys, onto the similar grounds, we can see that India even also banned the 59 apps majorly having the origin from China onto the suspicion that these apps might be giving the confidential data to the Chinese officials or the government. So guys, the threat is from both the sides. Now guys, see, traditionally an argument is given that internet or cyberspace is purely borderless phenomena. It is out of physical boundaries, it is a virtual, and therefore no physical control can be levied. But guys, here it has been said that such thing is also a misnomer, is also a mistake, and actually state into the physical way can control the cyberspace and can curb the bad activities which are happening there. How? First of all, guys, the cyberspace or the internet depends on to the physical infrastructure, which includes towers, satellites, broadcasting stations, etc. And secondly, the state governments, different states have the different laws onto the physical infrastructure as well as on control of the cyberspace into that particular country. So, guys, by this particular these two weapons, actually the cyberspace as a whole can be controlled. But the problem comes here that there are so many countries and every country is having a different policy with respect to the physical infrastructure, as well as they have their different set of laws. And many a time the jurisdiction, the impunities, the penalties, etc. might not be synchronized, and guys, at the end result is that the cyber security suffers. So first of all, apart from having the physical control or law, we also need to have a synchronized international legislation, international body for controlling the cyber security. Just as we have WHO, which is looking towards the entire health sector, we need a global cyber security architecture. Now, guys, talking on that particular line, so Russia since 1998 is trying to bring such kind of phenomena, and in 1998 Russia placed the internet and communication technology in international security agenda into the United Nations and had said that we should frame some global order onto this particular thing. And guys, since then, six groups of government expert GGEs have been formed on this particular matter. And apart from that, also, the open ended working group has also been established last year to make a synchronized cyber security architecture. But till now, nothing substantial has came out in this particular direction. And guys, the only positive development here is that it has been decided that the UN Charter will be extended to the cyber security, and all the country needs to take the voluntary responsibility or need to abide by the voluntary norms as how cyber security can be achieved. But guys, this is a very vague and very generalistic kind of responsibility which is being imposed. However, we right now need some specific cyber security architecture. Now, guys, if I tell you, there are two most important threats into the present times. First is the terrorism, and second is the cyber security. And on both of them, there is no comprehensive law. On terrorism, the Comprehensive Convention on International Terrorism was raised in 1996, but till now it has not been signed. And similarly, onto the cyber security, also you can see that nothing has been achieved. Now, guys, when we are talking in this particular regard, India also tried to give a mini play a meaningful part, and out of this six group of government experts, India had sent representation in five, and even into the open empowered working group, India had also sent the representation. But guys, the unanimity has not been achieved. Moreover, when we talk about India's response, India is running the CERT in, that is Computer Emergency Response Team. After that, there is a designated Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, which is working to provide a robust ecosystem for cyber security. And not only this, guys, even India is an active member of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, and there also India has raised a need of the code of conduct for the cyber security, which should be globally accepted. And guys, even India had also participated into the Christchurch call, which brings together the countries, companies, and other stakeholders so that the social media's use for promoting terrorism and extremism can be stopped. So, guys, these are the India's actions. But, guys, still we need to do more on our own end to bring the cyber security architecture. Moreover, guys, it has also been said that India should sign the Budapest Convention onto the cyber security, which we had not signed till now. And under this particular convention, there is a provision that private sector should be robbed along with the public sector so that both can actively cooperate into the sphere of the cyber security. And there is even an example of the cyber security tech accord which is initiated by the Microsoft. And guys, even the corporation Siemens had also led a program that is the Charter of Trust, and both of them are working for the cyber security and are assisting the government. So India on these lines should also explore the tech companies to come forward. So guys, to give a befitting response to this crisis, we need to work on both the domestic as well as onto the international level. So guys, please remember all these things and they could be utilized into the GS paper number 3 onto the questions of internal security. So that's it. Now we'll move to next. Guys, in this particular article, we will discuss the issues associated with the control of the tech companies or the digital world. So, into the past few years, strategic decoupling has been adopted as a part of a foreign policy by various countries such as USA. And now even India is following this strategic decoupling. So guys, here the countries they make a strategic disengagement with the China and Chinese corporates which might have impact onto the internal security of a nation. Now guys, as a part of this decoupling, we just now announced the ban of 59 apps, and now even India is exploring that the Huawei and the ZTE should not be allowed to participate into the 5G trials. Even USA had done these things into the past. Now see, such actions are ad hoc. It means that there is no certainty into these actions, and such a type of ad hocism has a lot of implication onto the foreign policy of a particular country. Now guys, it is a time that our foreign policy should be aligned with the constitutional values, national security and economic growth. So therefore it is a time now that for the decoupling also we need to have a policy. Now guys, see, there are two concepts. One is restraining, other is halting. Restraining means a strategic control and halting means a complete stoppage. So by these type of actions we are going towards the policy of halting. Rather we need to go for a restraint, because guys, 5G, artificial intelligence, social media, all these things are the realities of the 21st century, and at the same time they are also the nuisance also. So therefore we need to give them the space, but into a kind of a restricted periphery. So guys, it has been said that on the lines of Vasenar and MTCR, we should come out with some export control policy. I'll explain this thing. Guys, Vasenar agreement controls arm trades as well as it controls the goods and technologies which have a dual use. They could be used for peaceful purpose, they could be used for some destructive purpose. So the exporting country needs to come under a lot of obligation. Similarly, under the MTCR, that is the missile technology control regime, the countries which are exporting the technology, they need to come into some binding agreements. So guys, when China is exporting the technology or technology oriented solutions onto these lines, we should design some kind of parameters or some kind of agreements. Now if you remember, into the last article we had seen that India had successfully been part of the 5 out of 6 group of governmental experts or GGEs which were appointed under the United Nations. And guys, this because of this particular thing, India has much strategic experience as how India can reposition itself into the global world without compromising onto the data security. Now guys, see, traditionally India has been very conservative with respect to the data policy and follows the concept of the data sovereignty, where it means that government is in complete control of the policies related to the data. But this has a negative impact on our internal front also, because we have such large ecosystem for the startups, technology, entrepreneurship and all these kind of things. Thus, there also the ad hoc data sovereignty will not be functioning, and we need to have a clearly defined rule based system. So guys, this is some very good suggestions which have been given into this particular article, directly could be utilized into the exam. That's it. Now we'll move to next. Now, guys, this particular article talks about the need of maintaining distance from the ecology in order to avoid the future pandemics. Now, as the present pandemic began, it has the impact on economy, day-to-day life, as well as onto the health of the people. And such massive impact by lockdown has come that scientists are now exploring that the present phase should be called as the anthropause due to the standstill which has came into all the countries. Now, guys, one common point between the present pandemic and earlier outbreaks of Ebola, bird flu, SARS, MERS, they have a commonality that all of them are the zoonotic. It means that their origin is from the wildlife. Now, guys, it has been, though not confirmed, but it is being said that the COVID 19 either it jumped from bat to pangolin, and from pangolin it jumped to the animal via the wet markets or the animal meat markets into the Wuhan. Whereas other theory is that directly from the bats that were being traded into the Wuhan, it directly jumped to the human beings. But guys, anyhow, from the wildlife, it is coming to the human beings. So a kind of an ecological integrity or a distance needs to be maintained so that such kind of a resurgent pandemics doesn't comes into the times to come. Now, guys, if a question comes into the UPSC, what points you can write so that a ecological distance or an ecological integrity can be maintained? So, guys, we can write about the 2050 vision of biodiversity, which has been adopted into the conference of parties, and it gives a detailed prescription that how man and nature could live in harmony. And guys, there the renewable energy, sustainable development, arm's length distance between the nature and the mankind, etc., has been mentioned. So guys, just for the reference you can write its name. Then guys, there is urgent need that the concept of one health should be introduced, according to which the health of the ecosystem, the health of the animal, as well as the health of people are integrated in one whole. And if there will be problem in any one vertical, the implications will be on all of them. So guys, it is high time that the health of everyone should be managed. And into the one health system, guys, the specific concern needs to be made onto the domesticated animals whose trade or whose trade is happening into the wet markets or to the meat markets. So guys, there we need to focus. After that, guys, it is being said that there should be the strict implementation of the Wildlife Protection Act 1972 and Biological Diversity Act of 2002. Now, WPA 1972 alone prohibits the trade of 1800 species of wild animal as well as plant and their derivatives. And guys, as zoonotic diseases, the prevention is dependent onto the non-exportability of certain wildlife species, so its implementation is very much important. After that, guys, see, in India we have more than 2 lakh biodiversity management committee which are working at the grassroots level, so their help should be taken so that they can sensitize the mass as well as youth as how the systematic gap between the wildlife and humans can be maintained, so that there should be the safe interactions, so that we do not need to witness such devastating pandemics into the times to come. So guys, this is just more about the prescriptions onto the prevention of zoonotic diseases, the points which you can directly use. That's it. Now we'll move to next. Now guys, here with respect to the art and culture prelims, we'll see one news item. So guys, here the Natesa icon has been mentioned, which has been recovered after it was smuggled to the United Kingdom. Now guys, we don't need to see into the controversy as who stole it and what was the controversy behind. Rather, we'll be coming to the exam specific points. First of all, this Natesha icon, it is very rare and it is made into the sandstone, and it is the depiction of the Shiva. And guys, into this sculpture, along with the depiction of Shiva, there is also the depiction of the Nandi towards the right leg of the Shiva. Here you can see. Guys, Nandi is a depiction of a mythological bull, which is very important into the Shaivism sect of the Hindu religion. And Nandi is also depicted as the guardian deity of the Kailash, which is the abode or the residence of the Lord Shiva. Now, guys, this particular sculpture is made in 9th century Pratihara style, which is prevalent into the Rajasthan. And originally, before it was stolen, it was situated at the Ghateshwara temple, which is also in Rajasthan. So guys, that's all about this particular issue. Now the statue has returned back, and now we'll move to next. So, guys, this article talks about the indiscriminate use of antibiotics in livestock, which is a major cause of worry for the human beings. Now, friends, see what happens. India is the largest producer of the milk, and even largest number of cattle are there in India. If we talk about 2018 and 19, then there was 188 million ton of milk production in India, and a substantial part of this particular production is done by the milkmen and workers involved into the unorganized sector. And guys, these kettles or the cows buffaloes, they occasionally undergo an infection called as mastitis. So mastitis is abnormal inflammation or a bacterial infection towards the area of the breast or the udder. And to treat this, dairy farmers, they indiscriminately use the antibiotics. And guys, certain of the antibiotics which are used here, they have been given the status of the CIA, that is critically important antibiotic for the humans. And WHO has specifically warned that these antibiotics should not be used into the animals. Why, guys? Because see, as these animals are onto the treatment, these antibiotics, the fragment of them are also passed into the milk, and as this milk will be consumed by the human beings, such antibiotics will also go into the human beings. And right now there is the growing problem of the antibiotic resistance, and these CIAs are the last resort of antibiotics, and they should only be used when neither of the antibiotic is working. So guys, if humans will also develop the resistance by these CIAs, then the problem will be even more worse, and there could be a new pandemic of antibiotic drug resistance. So guys, it has been said that this indiscriminate use should be stopped. Now, see, the problem is the unregulated pharmacy sector of India, because over the counter large number of antibiotics can be gained. Second problem is that, guys, there is very much reliance onto the trained veterinary surgeons if the cattle faces any problem, because large number of people working are into the informal sector. Thirdly, guys, the implementation over the prohibition to sell the non-prescription based drugs have not been enforced. And guys, fourthly, there is a problem that when the animal is on treatment, till then also the milk is not stopped. And guys, there is no regime for the testing of the milk also, whether it is safe for the human consumption or not. And the problem is not only into the organized unorganized sector, but even into the organized dairies, the milk is also not tested for the fragments of the antibiotics. So guys, this could be a major problem, and some urgent steps should be taken in this particular regard. So that's it. Now we'll move to next. Now, guys, just as a reference in our GS paper number 2, fundamental rights, we can use a reference which has been given here. So, guys, the United Nations has declared that protesting is a fundamental right, and the governments should secure this right to the people. Now, guys, into the present times, we had seen that there is a considerable backlash into the citizens with respect to the human rights, with respect to other rights against injustices, and all such kind of things. And governments are crippling this particular right. So, guys, it has been said that under the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, Article number 21 mentions about the right to peaceful assembly, and as a part of peaceful assembly, even the protest, even if it is done into the non-violent and peaceful manner, then peaceful protest is also a fundamental right. Guys, incidentally, our Indian constitution also under article number 21 talks about the right to peaceful protest. So even before that, we had provided them in our constitution. So guys, if a question comes on such lines, we can use it as a reference. Keep in your mind. So guys, that's it. Now we'll move to next. Now, friends, as we know that a political crisis is going on between China and India, and guys, in that particular direction, a clarification has been made by the AIIB, that is the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, and it has been said that it will continue to function as an apolitical institution and has nothing to do with the rivalry going on between the China as well as India. Now, guys, India is the largest recipient of funding from the AIIB, and funding up to the tune of $4.35 billion has been taken by India, and large number of projects are dependent on the funding from AIIB. So AIIB has given a clarification that India's project proposals are being just seen from economic view and not from the political view. So guys, that's just a clarification which has been given. Now if we talk about AIIB, then it is supposed to be the counterpart of the Asian Development Bank and World Bank institutions. And guys, it is said to be a kind of a political rival also, because these institutions are dominated by the Western powers, where in AIIB the major say is of the Asian countries. So guys, this particular bank AIIB is headquartered into the Beijing, and if we talk about the lending pattern of the AIB, then guys, it approves the funding to the member countries into the region of Asia Pacific for the infrastructural projects which can bring the qualitative change into the socio-economic levels of the people. Moreover, guys, AIIB, though it is an independent organization, but it has also signed a financing framework agreement with the World Bank as well as with the Asian Development Bank, both of them. Now, guys, there have been 57 member countries which are the foundational members, and now even more countries have joined it. Now, if we talk about the membership into this bank, then China is the largest shareholder of the bank, and the second largest shareholder is the India. So, guys, this is all about this particular idea, and now we'll move to the question section. Now, guys, please pause the video and try to answer the question. So, first question number one is with respect to the RIC grouping. Please read the statement and identify the correct code. Question number two is with respect to the Global Hunger Index. Please, guys, consider the statement and identify the correct code. Question number three is with respect to the Green Growth Equity Fund. Please read the statement and identify the correct code. Now, question number four is with respect to the Global Tiger Day. So, please read the statement and identify the correct code. Now, guys, today's mains question is from GS paper number 3, and it is a 10 marker question. So, question says that what do you understand by cyberspace? Explain the necessity of stakeholder engagement to check the challenges that cyberspace is facing. So, guys, please write it, and into the next class, we'll see the framework of this particular question. So, guys, that's it for today. I hope you are liking our discussion. Thank you so much.